just got back from Rome, Italy, and I had a t-shirt and COVID. So I couldn't go, I couldn't come teach, because I had COVID. So I had to put it on hold, and then when she asked me not too long ago, I said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So I started cooking with Dutch ovens way back when I took a class at Idaho State University. And it was like a one evening class for like 6 weeks. And we cooked every night. We had guest speakers that came and spoke about Dutch oven cooking and all that kind of thing. And so our final that we had to cook was something that we had to get a grade on. Believe it or not, in a Dutch oven, we actually cooked a cheesecake. And it turned out really good. I was shocked. I was like, yes! There's nothing worse when things don't work out, but when they do, it's great. So I've loved cooking with Dutch oven. I've heard that knows wise tale, but it could be right, it could be wrong, that when you use a cast iron skillet, that iron from that cast iron actually goes into your food, so it's really good for you if you are low on iron. Dutch oven started in the 17th century, and they created a range of pots and pans and casserole dishes, and these were initially made out of brass. But then they were made into the cast iron, and usually what they would do is take a sand area and make a
well.
Yeah, a well, and that's how they would pour the Dutch oven in it, and to get that done. A lot of times now you'll find some that are less expensive, but if you do find those, make sure your lid works with it, because if it doesn't seal, it's not going to work as well. So let's see. Colonists and settlers used the cookware as versatility and durability. Lewis and Clark used them, and they carried with them on their expedition to the American West, and one of the few items they took home with them at the completion of the expedition. Dutch ovens are a prized possession used by pioneers, homesteaders, miners, ranchers. In 1896, Joseph Lodge built a cast iron foundry in Tennessee, where the Lodge Company still produces their famous cast iron Dutch ovens. And I was just by there. I didn't get to go in, but I was just there in Tennessee. Dang it. But, so Lodge is a very well-known name. They make quality things, but of course they charge for them because they're well made. So that's a really good thing to have is if you're going to invest in one, get a good brand. This one right here, this is a Dutch oven that I use outside all the time. This is a deep 14, humongous and heavy, really heavy. And this was not a name brand, and so I had to really work with it to make sure that the lid would fit on it correctly, because if not, it doesn't work as well.
Question.
Yes.
What did you do to make sure that the lid would fit snugly on it?
I just checked it when I bought it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just checked it, made sure it
Didn't
wasn't
get
wobbly
red hot.
or moving. Yeah, so it just stayed there. So, hello. Pioneers love their Dutch ovens, because one thing that would happen is when they made their food, it stayed hot, didn't it? Because it kept that heat in it, when you were cooking. So a lot of them use hot coals, some of them use fires. Debbie says she had a friend that had what was like a spit thing.
Yeah, it had an arm on it.
Yeah.
And it turned and it's
Over the thing. And she said that Dutch oven was this big.
wow.
It was humongous. I can't imagine cooking for that many people, but I guess you
He
did.
used it for ward cooking.
There we go. Ward cooking.
When they had
So.
ward parties.
Yeah, so when you think of Dutch oven, you think of a lot of times outside, but you can cook inside with them. And I use not this one because it's so huge, but my smaller ones, I'll use, and even though they have legs, they just sit right on the rack and just sit down there into the rack, and so it's not a big deal. And you can use them inside. Otherwise, they're porcelain covered ones. These are cast iron underneath, and then they have the porcelain coating on them. And they're amazing. I love it. Favorite thing to cook in my my Dutch oven with the one that's porcelain is artesian bread. So last night I put together the dough. You can see how bubbly it is. It doesn't make a sourdough because it's not that long. But I'm going to volunteer to put some more flour in this for me and get it ready to go in the oven. Any volunteers? Thank you, Dave. Here's some gloves.
So how much more are you adding?
It just, you get a feel for it.
Oh,
I've never done artesian bread.
So,
So I'm just gonna knead it and
Yeah.
one of it,
Yeah.
just a soft dough.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, just stuff it out on here and make it into a soft dough. And then what you do is you put your Dutch oven in the oven, and I have a Dutch oven in here, and you heat it up to 450 degrees with the lid on it and everything. And then when you get it ready, the dough ready to go in, then you pull it out, be very careful, pull it out because that thing is hot. Put parchment paper down and put your dough, and then just lower it into there. And then the instructions for cooking it are right there on your paper. After you've cooked it for the 30 minutes, you just take the lid off, and it helps crisp the outside and give it a little more brown on the outside then. And I understand that you can do it without a Dutch oven, but the one thing with the Dutch oven, it gives a crisp outside, and that's the difference. I think it says something about a water bath underneath and to steam it, and yeah, I know, get your Dutch oven, they're not bad. So,
You said it again, Mark, how long do you bake it for?
it's 30 minutes,
And then you take the lid off for how long?
8 to 15
Okay.
minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know, but it makes sense.
So explain that.
Together my brain.
1 3/4.
1 3/4 -2 stuff on it.
Yeah, okay, so when I made my dough up last night, this said to use 1.5 cups of warm water. It wasn't near wet enough. It was too dry. And so that's why I added the 1 3/4 to 2. And start with the 1 3/4 and then add a little bit more until it's completely, saturated with the liquid. And then if you've used a lot and it's still really loose, then you just add a little more flour when you're getting it ready to go. So, that's looking great. Okay, so just in that little short amount of time, you can see the difference in it. Okay, let me move this for a minute.
I think I need just a little more flour. Don't need just a bit more flour.
Okay, so you want to stick that on here, right there, and then I'll get some hot pads out.
Okay.
Okay, be careful here. You can tell how hot it is because this is bright red like this other pan.
Yeah.
But where it's heated,
Whoa, yeah.
then it's dark color. Okay, that's fine. Don't need any more on that. It was really.
So
Okay.
will you let it sit?
Uh-uh.
It says rest for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's still sticky.
Okay. I don't usually let mine rest 15 minutes,
Okay.
but you can if you want.
Oh,
recipe I just got off the internet.
Okay.
And I don't usually use a recipe, anybody that knows me well enough, I don't use a recipe that often. And so, this will tell you different things. Yep.
Sticky?
Okay, that's good,
Okay.
that's good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep it on that parchment and we're gonna
Okay.
lower it down into this pan. Just helps it from, sticking. Shall we do a dance?
So did you flatten it out, Debbie? You just flattened it out?
Yeah, and you don't have to flatten it that much, usually just a little round ball, but if you flatten it out, usually it'll go wider.
Okay.
So it just depends on your preference. You wanna turn the timer on to 30 minutes.
And that's interesting that you can keep the parchment paper in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you.
it gets a little toasty, but you can still keep it in there.
Brown inch on the bottom.
Okay.
That's what parchment's for.
Right.
Yeah, you can do it if you just wanna do, cornmeal at the bottom. The cornmeal will keep it from sticking, so, pretty cool. Okay,
You have to tell me about oiling.
oh yeah, hang on.
Okay.
So,
Are we going to do the score? The scoring?
yeah, if you can score it in the top, it just makes it look prettier, but I just stick mine in, it usually pops apart on its own, so, not a big deal. Okay, so we've got that in the oven, and that one ready to go. Okay, so when you think about a Dutch oven, what do you think you can do in it?
Anything.
Anything. Anything. You can do anything in a Dutch oven. From cooking with your cast iron pan, just in the oven. You can use it to saute stuff and then finish it in the oven. We're gonna do a pizza in it, which is pretty cool, but I wanna talk about the seasoning right now. So, I ended up going, oh, here it is. Going on and getting some technical things, which I am not a technical person. So, and it talked about, polymizing the oil. And that's what helps the pan go from this look
Oh, to that. Shiny one.
to this look, okay?
That's a beautiful pan.
It is. And I grew up cooking on one like this all the time, and we just washed it in the sink with soapy water. And everybody's cringing on that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me tell you. The soap we use nowadays versus to the lye soap that they used before is totally different. It's totally different. And so it's not gonna take that, that out of there, which is nice. So when you heat it, when you heat up the pan, you put the oil in it and it gets to the smoking temperature, that's when the chemical reaction takes place, okay? And it all depends on which type of oil that you use. But you have to get them all to the smoke point that they have. And there are several different ones that you can use on it, but they say the best to use, because you'll get this from everybody, is an unsaturated. Okay, olive oil has a little more saturated in it. It doesn't polymize as well. I can't say that word. I found that the canola oil or just regular vegetable oil is best to work with it. And anytime you do clean it in your oven, you can, or in the sink, don't let it soak because it's porous enough that it'll absorb the liquid and pop off your coating. And most of them, they talk about being stick resistant because that's what happens. So when you're at this stage, things are gonna stick a little bit more because you don't have that big buildup yet onto your pan as you would. Let's see. So you get your pan to the smoke point. You know how you put it on the oven and you get it to where it's starting to smoke? Put the oil in it. Make sure that you use tongs with the oil. I burnt my finger yesterday because I touched it and I was not gonna touch it, but I did. And then put it in there. Don't put too much because if you put too much, I don't know if you can see it in this one.
You'll have the fire alarm going off.
No? I didn't. I just opened the windows. Can you see this little, like a splatter look?
To the back of it, so the lights, there, yeah.
Okay, right there. What's happened with that is it's made that chemical bound, but there was too much oil in it. So this could easily flake off. So what you do at that point, you just use it and then you just, re-oil it every time. So, and you'll get that. So heat it up to where it's starting to smoke, put the oil on it, and then I turn the heat off and I just let it sit on my burner and let it sit there.
And turn on the kitchen fan.
Yeah, open the window, have it go out.
What temperature did you say?
It all depends. If it's vegetable, let's see, vegetable shortening, the smoke point on that is 360 degrees. If you use vegetable oil, the smoke point on it is 400 degrees, and canola is 425.
Margee, could you use lard on it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I just was curious.
You can, but the problem with that is there's too much saturation in that, and so you don't get the coating like you should.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, and they can pop off.
So you do it on the top of your stove? I
Mhm.
always do mine in the oven.
Yeah, I do it on top
Sometimes
of
I'm
stove.
at 400 and do it.
Yeah, I do it on top. So it just depends on which one, and you can find these information, on the internet on it. So, let's
She
see.
wants to know if you can use avocado butter.
You can, let's see,
Which is the higher burn?
520.
Yeah, it says a higher burn.
Avocado oil has a smoke point of 520.
My goodness.
Safflower oil has 500. Olive oil, light and refined olive oil is 465. Peanut oil is 450. Corn oil is 450. So there's different temperatures on how hot you've got to get it to polymerize.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
I have family members that are allergic to peanut.
Uh-huh.
If you oiled your pan with peanut oil, would any of that come into the food that's prepared? And
It could very well do that.
Okay, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it could. I don't know for sure.
Maybe
But-
they thought it was,
I have grandkids that are gluten intolerant, and my grandson was so gluten intolerant, his mom had eaten a hamburger and she kissed him, and he got sick just from the gluten that was on her lips.
Wow.
So anything that you do, if they're allergic to it, stay away from it. I tried to kill my grandkids one night when I got pizza, and it was supposed to be gluten-free, but it wasn't, and oh, that was awful. It was terrible. Okay, so, the oil, let's see, there are 3 things to keep in mind. The oil hasn't polymerized if it comes out sticky or tacky, no matter what smoke point the oil is or what temperature you're seasoning your pan. So you have to watch for that. And this right here has a little sticky to it. I can feel it difference between the 2 parts right there.
It should be sticky?
It shouldn't.
Should it be sticky?
Let's see, polymerizing oil will burn off if your heat is too high or leave the pan heating for too long. So you have to just be careful of that.
So if it's sticky, what would you do? Reheat it again?
Well, it can come off. You can take a scouring pad, a metal scouring pad, and scour it off if you're worried about it. I'm not worried about this because there's too little of it. But yeah, anything, any utensils you use, you can use anything in cast iron pans. Metal, everything. So, but the thing they said is don't let it soak. So if you have something burn on, I would definitely get it off as soon as I could and not let it, that's sitting right next to the heat.
What's the front? You know,
So, okay, so on the, where else? Okay, so technically smoke point is about carbonization, which is what happens after the polymerization. Ideally, you want your oil to carbonize, not just polymerize. Generally, when you talk about seasoning your cast iron, you're talking about both polymerize and carbonize. So, always follows somebody that knows what they're talking about. So, a lot of your resources that you get, you can go on Lodge, the Lodge company, and you can ask questions. There's probably all kinds of questions that you can answer from there. So they've been in business since 1896, and they've been doing cast iron for over 100 years. So there is a website that you can go on, which will tell you all kinds of stuff like that. The best way to season a pan is to cook with it. What would be the first thing you'd cook in something possibly like this?
something greasy.
Something greasy. Bacon, something greasy. I probably wouldn't do the bacon as much because of the taste of the bacon.
Smell.
I would do something like deep fried.
Well, and you could do salt pork, uncured bacon, you could do that.
Okay. So anything that's gonna leave, it's gonna open up those pores in that cast iron and pull in that oil. Okay? Okay. I have all kinds of information and. Okay. So you wanna consider size when you buy one. When I first started doing it, I started doing it with a deep 12. Okay, and the difference between a regular 12 and a deep 12 is the height, okay? But you can do anything in a deep 12 that you do in a regular 12, except for the fact that your heating is further away from the top of what you're cooking, okay? So get the kind of pan that you need, the size you need. Something like this would be great for a big camping group or church things and that type of thing. You know, get what you're gonna use. There's no sense in lugging all these heavy things around, because they can get really heavy. Okay, so, let's see here. One of the best things to do in a cast iron skillet is to sear meat. You can't do it in other kinds. Ultimately, cast iron is the best to sear meat because it really does it correctly. And when you do sear meat, anybody know what happens? It locks the flavoring in. Yeah, the moisture and locks the flavoring in. So if you're doing something like a stew, definitely sear your meat first. It'll taste much better. Okay. You can use it on a stovetop. You can use it in the oven, and then an enamel cast iron Dutch can last the rest of your life and beyond. The enamel coating makes it easier to clean, although it becomes discolored over time. This is unfortunate in a sense, but it really means that you've gotten years of use out of that Dutch oven.
You're talking about this.
I'm talking about the outside and the inside. Hers looks much better than mine.
Oh, much better than mine.
Uh-huh. And at first, when I saw all the dark spots and stuff in it, I thought, oh, that's not good, but obviously it is. So.
How do you clean it after you cook so that it
Some things will make it go dark on it.
It will.
If there's something to whiten it up.
There is actually, my porcelain sink up at my cabin, we kept getting, all kinds of stuff on it.
Is Ajax bad?
I wouldn't use Ajax on it, but, Bars Keepers, have you ever heard of that? That will take the stains out of porcelain, but make sure you really rinse it well, and really rinse it.
Bonami works.
Is the
too.
bars
You can
keeper
find
the
it.
one that's?
Where?
Bonami.
Bonami.
Bonami is my friend. I never use, I use Bonami on my pants. What? She goes, that's Bonami. Okay, anyway.
So what's Bars Keepers, for those of us that don't?
It's,
Well, you can get it by the,
Cleansers.
yeah, the cleanser area, you can get it in the powder form, or you can get it in liquid form.
You can use
What's
that.
the-
It is the best thing to clean off a glass
What's
top.
the one that's actually a bar?
That's,
Yeah,
this is.
that's it.
that's a liquid.
That's the liquid.
And that's okay too?
Yeah.
To have it?
This stuff cleans metal and all kinds of stuff. It's amazing.
It's just,
But your glass top stove
Yeah.
cleans them amazing.
so you
Amazing.
probably wouldn't wanna use a metal like, your steel, stainless steel. rubber
Probably not.
inside that.
You just have to be careful, just like anything else. Make sure that when you do clean your cast iron pans, that you dry them right away. Make
Or
sure.
put them on the cooktop and let them dry
Mm-hmm,
with a little heat
mm-hmm,
for just a minute.
Yeah.
But it works,
yeah.
and that really gets them dry.
Yeah.
Going back to your searing, one of the things that I did wrong for a long time, whether I was cooking my eggs or anything else with the cast iron, if I heated the pan first and then started cooking in it, then it's less likely to stick it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
good to
you
know.
I heat it for just, not super hot,
Mm-hmm.
but
Just
heat
start
it
it warming
well,
up.
have it hot.
Yeah, and just a little bit of oil in it, and there you go. So, okay, I've got this stuffed peppers, on the stuffed peppers.
Margie,
Yes.
don't use Pam, any spray on in your cast iron.
Ooh.
No, the stuff that makes that accelerant, that puts that out of that container into your pan is horrible. It's actually horrible for you to eat.
It actually,
It's really
if you
bad.
use that kind of stuff in, even,
Griddles.
not what I'm talking about, not the cast iron, but the other that
Pancake.
usually,
Pancake griddles.
yeah, that will take that coating off of it. It'll help lift that coating.
It's very detrimental. You're much better off doing with Suzanne, buying a little pump bottle and put your own
Mhm.
oil in it.
Yeah.
It's
Your
very
stuff,
nice.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so. It talked about boiling your peppers. Okay, when I made, stuffed peppers before, I didn't par cook them. And they were hard as a rock when I got everything else out, when everything else was done. And so, whoops. So I just boil it in the water, so they're kind of soft. Took about 15 minutes is all.
You haven't put anything in the bottom of that.
No, Okay, so I've just got them sitting in there, and then over here I've got my sauce. We've got it cooking. Boy, that's some better days.
It's kinda like my one at home.
The ones you love.
Yeah. They get well used.
Yes, they do.
Sausage.
Okay, the original recipe I had on these stuffed peppers, it said to use instant rice. No, I don't like instant rice, it's terrible. So I just pre-cooked my rice. So. Okay, so on that, 6 large green peppers, 1 pound of ground sausage, and it's the breakfast sausage. that you use, 1 large onion, 2 10.7 ounce of tomato sauce, 2 cups of water, chili powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and cheddar cheese, and the cooked rice. So I've got all of that in there, except for some of the cheese. And it says to put part of it in there first. Oh, come on.
Margee,
Yeah.
when I was working at Bio's, I did stuffed peppers every 2 weeks. And I used the Spanish rice-a-roni as my base.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's really good. You're killing 2 birds with one. You still have to make
Because
put the
of
tomato sauce on
because
top.
of the spices already in it.
Well, and yeah, and the flavor of it's really good. And then I would put, ground beef in with it and extra onions, and then the sauce on top. It was good. Easy, fast.
So what's cool about the tomato sauce? It's already got seasoning in it too,
Yeah.
which is nice. So I just added some of the cheese in it. That's too hot. And then I'm gonna add my rice. Who doesn't have a rice cooker? You're missing out.
Didn't raise that much.
Well, if you don't eat it that much, yeah. It's nice because you can set it and then just walk away. Put some water in there. I think we're gonna have extra of this stuff so we can taste just this part.
That looks so good. Have you ever tried the stuffed pepper soup at Oliver's?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Or you can use the store brand. Add a tablespoon of white rice to it. Because, rice-a-roni has decreased their.
Yeah, the Spanish rice mix is really good.
No, sorry, they use rice-a-roni brand. Store brand.
Okay.
What you need?
Just thinking a bigger spoon.
A bigger, no, it's in there, it's right in the freezer.
I have the one that
No, maybe not 2 cans.
Do you wanna try this?
Perfect. Okay, so once you get it all mixed together, this is kind of what it looks like. It's got the onion and all the stuff in it. And then you just fill your peppers.
you want it to be in there quite loose, or do you pack it in, or
I pack it in.
some things don't cook as well as that?
Well, the one thing that's nice is your rice and everything is already hot, so it's not gonna be a problem.
Did you use any kind of sausage that you wanted to in the bowl?
Oh, I'm sure you could.
I like to buy that Italian sausage,
Mhm.
buy the
Yeah, that'd be
medium
good.
raw.
That would be good. That would be really good in it too. I tried to stay close to the recipe for you guys.
You can have chili powder, garlic powder too.
Okay, and then this is what it looks like. You get them all stuffed. And you can use red peppers and yellows and all kinds of stuff.
Whatever you have in your garden.
Absolutely. And then a little more cheese on top. Okay, I'll pour the rest of this on this. We'll keep what's left here, so you could probably do more than 6 peppers. Most likely, because there's a lot here, but we'll keep it so that you can just taste the filling extra. No sense in going to waste.
That could be your side dish for the next day.
There you go. Okay.
How long do they take to cook?
I think it's a half hour.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Where your peppers are already cooked. Make sure you move your grates.
We got 5 minutes left on the bread.
Okay.
And then we take out the lid, right?
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this.
Smells good, Marty.
What?
Smells good.
Put that in there. Yes.
When you put the Dutch oven here to change your temperature at all, is it just whatever the recipe says?
Just whatever the recipe says.
Same goes for the.
Yeah, but if you're cooking like the bread, you need to heat up the pan before, but anything else, you don't have to heat it up. Yeah. Okay. So this pizza dough, they have at Winco. It's pretty awesome. It's easier if you buy it, but if you wanna make your own dough, you can. I thought about calling my sister, she has one of the best pizza dough recipes, but I didn't wanna make it. It's been crazy, we've had, since my husband, retired, thank you, retired, I can't think.
We have one brain too.
I know. Since my husband retired, we've been all over. We've been to Alaska, we've been to Rome, we've been to cross country for 2 months in a camp trailer. So there's, and then to Coeur d'Alene, yeah. So, and then we brought our grandson home with us. So we've had him for a month, and he's been awesome. But we get the one that's just down, a couple years younger than him. My grandson is 14, but his brother's 12, and his brother's a little bit of a challenge. So on this pizza, you're gonna use oil in it, so it's real coated, okay?
So you don't preheat it?
This might be a thick pizza.
I was gonna say, are you gonna do half?
Do 2 pans.
Good.
Because otherwise we'll be eating bread.
So have you ever had dough that you made with pizza dough and you go to stretch it out and it just keeps going?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have, if it does that, you just rest it for about 10 minutes and then go back to it. And then it usually does.
Now we wanna see you flip it in the air.
In the Rome.
Yeah, right.
had pizza at a little restaurant next to Pompeii. Oh my gosh, that pizza was unbelievably good.
Well, no, when you talk about their breads or their pizzas, they're saying, well, this is made out of this type of bread, where here we only have semolina, how do you say it?
Yeah.
Pizza
Wow.
has way
Semolina.
Well, you get it on flowers now.
Yeah.
Well, Margie, when you ate there, wasn't it just the crust, pretty much a little tiny bit of tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and fresh basil? They don't put everything on it like we do.
Yeah, that's margarita pizza,
Yeah,
is what they call it, but the one I had was a white sauce and then the cheese and stuff. And then we were really taken back because none of their sandwiches have condiments on it. They didn't drive. They said if you have to put condiments on it, it means that you don't have good meat.
Means you're American?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we like flavor.
We like,
We do.
So if you go to Italy, you have your own
and not dry.
mustard packets and,
No.
well, do they dress them with oil and vinegar, the sandwiches?
Usually olive oil. No, they don't even do that.
Okay.
If you need something, they say the olive oil.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ask for butter for your bread,
Stupid Americans.
stupid Americans.
Order ice in your water. Stupid
Yes. Oh.
American.
Trying to get a cold soda.
Yeah. They drink it.
Even some of their, like, vending machines, they weren't cold.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, I was shocked. But, okay, we'll put this in this other one. Oop, I got it.
So Margie, did you say you were in Scotland, Ireland, or just Europe?
We just went to Rome. We just.
It's like pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it is, it's really easy to do. Okay, so now I'll have to, I need to get this opened up. We can do that. Okay, you notice on there it says spaghetti sauce. Okay, those little tiny jars of pizza stuff that you can get is like $2.50, $3. That's $1.18 for that, and it's just as good a flavor.
So what does it say on it?
Spaghetti sauce. It's a 4-cheese spaghetti sauce.
Spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
And you can get it with mushrooms or meat.
Yep.
Or cheese or garlic. There's 4 or 5 different varieties of it, and they're all good.
Yeah. I ended up putting a little bit too much oil in this, and it does not want to stay out.
Sliding around.
You could flip them over.
Yeah, but then I'd have oil on both sides. Okay, it'll be okay.
Okay.
Okay. So then just a spaghetti,
Yes.
something like that.
Spaghetti.
The worst part about it is you usually have,
Messy hands.
well, yeah, and leftover sauce. But just figure it doesn't cost as much.
It freezes well.
Put it in another.
Oh, it doesn't freeze well?
Yes, it does. It freezes well.
Well, there we go.
Finally freeze it in ice cube trays and-
Oh, that's a good idea. Freeze it in ice cube trays?
Yeah. Smaller jars, ice cube trays.
Okay, and then we have.
Muffin tins.
Does anybody freeze dried spaghetti sauce?
Oh, you could.
Sure you could.
I just got a freeze dryer.
Oh, yay.
And you can spread it out on the sheets, freeze dry.
My son has a freeze dryer back in South Carolina, and we were back there. He freeze dried us mandarin oranges. Oh my gosh, they were good. Debbie, you wanna open that, pineapple and drain it for me?
So you say mandarin oranges, is that canned mandarin oranges or fresh ones?
Either one. We did fresh and canned. They both tasted the same to me. The one thing you gotta be careful with freeze drying, one of the batches that we did didn't get dry enough, And so within a very short time, they were getting caught.
Okay. It did not fly.
A lot of times you'll hear people talk about, not using acidy, like tomato sauce and that in your Dutch oven. It can take some of your polymerization off, but that and, I don't like using a lot of, things with a lot of sugar in it, because it's so hard to get out.
Oh, it's leaking.
Oh, that's right.
And so I end up with, either foil, or nowadays they have those little foil
Those liners.
liners, which are nice. They're expensive, but they're
worth it, sorry.
nice.
No, it's just.
Cause sometimes when
She
you do
wanted it,
cobblers,
so.
Yeah.
people end up, if you just put foil in it, they end up pulling some of the foil up. So you don't wanna do that.
Mark, have you ever used chainmail to clean your cast iron?
I haven't, but yes, you can use chainmail.
It's so easy, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Ellen gave that to me for Mother's Day. It is
It's the
such a
best little
win.
$8 gift on the planet.
Shades?
No,
I didn't know you can
You
find
know, the
chainmail.
chainmail that
They used to
the
make
armors used to-
armors, yeah.
in the medieval times,
Yeah.
all the little circles, okay? Well,
Yeah.
They
They
make
come about
little
this.
round discs of it, or they make little rectangles of it.
I've actually seen one that's hooked onto a handle.
And what do you do with it?
Scrub it on your pan.
Just water and that chainmail, and it just takes all the residue out, and you just take a paper towel and dry it off, and it's done. It's, Amazon carries them. Look around, because everyone's charged different.
Oscar has it in their cast iron pot.
Okay, Calvin, Calvin,
Meal?
Chainmail. And just speak it in your speaker.
Yeah, if you can't remember it, tell them, I'm looking for that stuff that the, armors, the
Yeah.
people that wore armor, the knights in shining armor out.
What's the new business downtown? Trader Joe's. Trader Jack's. Trader Jack's had a couple of the chainmail.
Oh, Trader Jack's downtown.
Yeah.
What do you call them, chainmail,
Just chainmail, cast iron cleaners.
Okay.
But no, I did it for Christmas.
You put some cheese on this and try it in the oven.
This is great, I got phone calls, this is great, where do you find this, I wanna use it, let me give some names. It's good stuff. And it just rinses out.
Oh, so there's the one that she was
Never
talking
goes
about, right?
sour.
Yeah, right.
This is more what I got.
What you got.
But check, yeah.
Yeah, but she just did
I
that,
want to
so
see
she-
the picture.
Okay.
I see the picture.
There's, the ones I got, the first ones I got were like rectangular shape, and then I ordered from another company, got the round ones. They both work just fine.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But it's really, that's one thing, there's some.
I also have one of those, plastic scrubber things. Those work really well. It's not super stuck.
That's Chet Baskin has one that's for Dutch ovens.
Mm-hmm.
It's brown, about this big.
Uh-huh.
One edge of it is not sharp, but it's pointed.
Well, you could really get going with each deep one, you could do that, would be great for a fry pan. No, but yeah.
Okay.
And how did you spell it?
I think that's good.
It's one word.
Yeah, we got it back.
So now we can put them in the oven, what's the three?
Okay, so these are in here. We'll stick them in this oven over here.
It's M-A-I-L. M-A-I-L.
Like meal.
I used to run last, so I had to stick my stuff on there, because it said on the little,
And then I'll put that on, 15 minutes and I'll check.
like a short girl, the wires are sharp on it, and these are
So you-
round, and so it doesn't take it.
I wonder if it takes like that.
So
That's looking so pretty.
So Marty, you don't have to cover those, so they.
Well, the chainmail wouldn't hurt you.
No, you don't cover them at all.
Regular skirt,
You don't
just
cover
leave
the
it.
bread?
No, the pizzas. Okay. And then one last thing is we're going to do a giant cookie.
10, isn't it?
For your
I'd
recipe,
say at least 12.
cause I made them at home, but I think my pans fit a little smaller.
Well, if it's a little smaller, you don't want them too thick.
I know.
So then you can, if it's smaller, then just hold some of that dough out.
And eat it.
What size is this one?
Freeze it.
Right,
This, I borrowed from Carol Cleves, I don't know what size it is.
That's a 10.
That's a 12.
It's got a little divot on it, but it doesn't fit like this.
That looks
So,
Bigger than
this is the cutest thing that came, I borrowed these from Carol Cleves, and this one and that other small one came in this bag.
Oh,
It's kinda cool.
yeah. Jackson.
So, okay. I guess we need to get,
You can watch my hair stuff too. Jared and Scoop's on the phone.
mix her out. Thank you. Okay, so you just make a regular cookie dough, you can do whatever you want. This is gonna be chocolate chip. So. Okay.
Are you using butter?
Quarter cup.
Real butter. I got it out here.
You got it? Okay. 3/4 cup at each.
Yep.
Okay. Where's your eggs?
They're in a little round thing,
Oh, okay.
already cracked.
Oh, good.
Debbie, you wanna run this?
She's the shoe chef today.
She is. She's one of my buddies.
We've known each other way too long. We have one grade.
40 years. Had babies on the same day, 20 minutes apart, and lived on the same block.
And then those babies had babies on the same day.
What do you mean?
Baking soda. I forgot my baking soda.
Okay, so I have unleavened
Check the
cookies.
freezer.
Oh.
Nothing in that fridge, is there any in there?
Well, guess what? We're gonna have flat
There's
cookies.
a grocery store right next door.
It's a good thing the egg will do some.
Go into the store.
Okay.
But we don't need it.
Oh, do you want me to mix that?
Yeah.
Don't get into a big hurry, Debbie.
In the freezer in that one? Okay. We'll be good.
The eggs will help it rise.
Well, no.
I'll get home and my husband will say, what'd you forget? Well, I'm not telling you. Yeah, you know me well. That's why you can't ask him when I get home.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, we're gonna have the flour though too. Okay. 2.5 cups. You wanna add 2.5 half
Not
cups
be in the
of
way.
that?
You're fine.
Just pepper, just can't get that. Tupperware scoop, an ancient.
I know.
Scoop.
It is. It's one of those things you just can't live without.
No, I have 4 or 5 canisters.
Approximately 2.5 cups.
Did you know, well, you guys probably, I'm preaching to the choir though, I'm sure. When you go on a higher elevation, you need to add a little more flour?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, it just depends on the
So-
mood you're in.
So with our activity day boys, we made these cookies and they're called crazy cookies. And you make a basic dough and then work on my baby. You make a basic dough and then each one takes a little piece of the dough and they put whatever they want to in it, whether it's chocolate chips or whatever, and they bake them. Well, I didn't add no flour and those cookies were like the whole pan was covered in cookies. They thought it was great. That's way my first time cookies I ever made. Hear that? Yeah. Next year I'm teaching one on crazy muffins. Some of you have those muffins before, a few. But they're amazing because you do a basic dough and then you add whatever to make the different muffins. So you can have a whole pan with all kinds of different muffins.
It's in, oh, it's still in here.
I think the bread's probably been in the one
Yeah.
minutes. And it's,
I'm trying not to put my.
Okay.
maybe not.
Right there.
Maybe.
Oh, it's so pretty. I love it.
There's no lid.
Seems like it's stuck to smell it.
So do you wanna put that in here? We'll turn this down.
Yeah, turn it to 379.
Well, she took
Oh, we have a question.
Yes.
In here it says cover the bread and bake it.
For 30 minutes.
You did it.
Yes, we did.
Oh, you did?
And then after 30 minutes, she took it
Took
off
off
and
the
then put
lid.
another.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's been in there
Time on.
another 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because
We
I'm
missed
like,
that part.
have the lid. All right. Wait, 15 minutes, that's what I was thinking.
Carol will be so excited when she gets her pan back and they've been just using everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's see, in mine, I didn't do that. I did adjust mine. Like, even some of these.
Where's what?
Some of them are like, okay, they're like-
She had a bunch of appointments she had today. I don't want to drop this.
I don't want you to drop it either, cause it looks so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yum. It's gorgeous, Margee. Gorgeous. It is. How nice. Oh, wow. Now, how long do you let it cool before you cut it?
Normally,
Minutes on the recipe.
enough that you can handle it.
This is 30 minutes.
I don't think Karen's gonna.
I was gonna say,
Okay, let's
hot
do it.
bread.
Everything else
Yeah.
is gone.
Put it all in.
And that's right, I'm too in a hurry to clean them.
That's okay.
Do we put nuts in it?
Yes, we did. Oh, hopefully nobody's allergic to nuts. Okay. How we doing, Debbie?
Doing good.
Pretty good?
Yeah. There's a lot of chocolate in there, girls.
There is a lot of chocolate, so it wouldn't be my favorite.
Oh, that's right. Margee does not like chocolate. Can you believe that?
I'm not a big chocolate fan.
But the
A
tiniest
little goes
steak
a
is
long way.
just-
But I just saved the rest for you guys who love chocolate. All right, anybody have any questions that I haven't covered so far, or?
when you go camping and you're cooking on your propane stove, don't make the mistake of serving up the fish and somebody saying, "Oh, I'll go down and do the pan." They take that hot or warmish pan down to the lake or the brook and stick it in, and cracks in half.
Yeah,
It's gotta be cold before you put it water.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard of that before.
What did it do?
So it's really hot, the pan's really hot, and it's just like glass sometimes.
It's
And it holds the
excellent.
heat for a long time, and so you have to let it cool, but if you don't and you stick it in something really cold, it'll shatter, break in half. Yeah.
And they
Tell
don't
them
make
how
very
many
good
briquettes, top and bottom, if you're cooking on the fire.
There's no.
Okay, I think it brought,
As many on the bottom and as many on the top.
Did you put the vanilla in it?
oh, nope.
Oh, good. That's gonna be our.
Hey,
Good catch.
No vanilla, no baking soda, we're good.
That's all.
Okay, Debbie, is that Mexican vanilla?
I told her I need to give her some.
I got it from my sister.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Now you're adding it in there.
Yeah, I'm adding it in there.
Telling you about getting it.
They said we would if you have a piece of it far.
Yes.
Elisa and Cole.
Oh, okay.
And
What was your other one?
Elisa and Cole.
Looks good.
Childhood. And the fun part of it is, then they had babies on the same day.
Oh, my goodness.
So I go in the hospital, like, she's scheduled for a C-section, and Dan came over and said, "Guess
Yeah.
who's here?
Guess who's here?"
Margee's here." She's not supposed to be here. But the worst part about it is, they had no room for me after I delivered.
You were out in the hallway?
I was out in the hallway.
Oh, my gosh.
I offered to share my room, but.
Well, yes, as close as you were, you should have shared.
It was too tiny. Couldn't have got that bed in.
That's been a long
That's the
time.
hospital was old.
Okay, so this is what you do, and I do have extra dough, so my
Well,
grandson will be very
so how
happy to have me bring that home.
How thick would you say that is?
Probably about a ½ inch. So, just stick it in here.
Margee, stop.
Oh, sorry. Grab that. Thank you.
I think there's only a couple more minutes on the others.
Okay.
And how many minutes on this?
Oh, is it?
20.
Yeah, put it on 20.
When they start eating the other, and they're saying that.
So when I get home, I have to activate some of this for
Yeah.
my grandson. What's left here?
Or not.
Tell them their new cookies are flat. They're flat.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
You take the lid off.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't want it crunchy.
right,
Just leave the lid on.
yeah. So you can hear the hollowness of it. And usually with this, I'll cut it in half one way, and then I'll cut pieces off. I don't like this knife.
We need a Serenity.
Yeah.
Find you a Serenity.
I don't know if it's gonna, check that drawer, that first drawer. Oh, and I have the
Walk
sauce on the
some.
wrong side too.
Debbie, over more than I.
Sounds wonderful.
So my favorite part of it is the yolk.
Yes.
But when I do have butter,
So we're not.
this is, we stupid Americans.
Americans.
Just not me, thank you. Up in there, there's some more, butter. So you usually have Carol here. Watch your cane, Debbie.
She's the assistant sous chef.
She is.
She's good.
It's a little hot still.
Where do you want a pizza?
Is it done?
Oh, it looks so
It's
yummy.
done.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Yeah, just clear off this.
Oh, we've gotta have a,
Hot bath.
we've gotta have some.
All that wire, so wire wrap.
You put all this stuff back in the basket?
I know. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Take it on the inside.
That doesn't help.
You'll need that when I cut those.
Yes.
That's how they eat it.
Oh, there goes the
Peppers
peppers.
and sauce or whatever.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think Margee deserves a round of applause.
Just pick up the rest.
Okay, we need another rack for those.
It usually cuts a little better when it's cooler.
Well, for the taste of it, we let you.
No, that's, yeah, that's the favorite. Chairs a little closer.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut those too.
Does that look good?
Really?
Guess it's taking camping up there. Apparently, in the course of the day, carriage.
All right, you want the pizza cut and then we'll have people start.
Oh darn, this crust fell off. I better
Oh.
check it.
Dip it in the butter. Quality.
Well, we gotta let the chef eat it first anyway, so we know it's safe.